Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Demi. I talk about travel, food and personal finance, which I'm actually just starting out. If you've not watched my previous video, do check them out. In the last video, I covered about the finance tracking app that I actually use on a daily basis to track my money, where it goes day in and day out. So today's video, I actually want to just cover about a budget template that I use to track on an overview basis every single month after I receive my salary and also conclude the previous months, so that I know how much I've actually spent and how much I have saved for the previous month. Link to this is in the description box below. If you want to use this template, you can always just duplicate it and adjust accordingly. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. This is a template that I have actually made for myself. I will track by the income that I receive first, together with the interest or dividends that I've received in that month. As for Singaporeans, we have the CPF, which our 20% of our salary actually goes into to fund our retirement. For me, I don't account for CPF as it's not an amount that I can see as of yet. If you do want to account for CPF in your overall spreadsheet, you can unhide these two cells, 2 and 4, and there is a component for CPF. Yeah, but for me, in my whole example, I will not be including CPF, so if you would like to, you can do so. I will leave it there in the template. Let me bring you through my 2022 monthly budgets and actuals. So I use a single spreadsheet to budget at the start of the month, and at the end of the month, I will consolidate to note down what I've actually spent for the month. At the top here, as you can see, it's my gross income coupled with interest and dividends. In my previous video, I mentioned that I have created for myself some interest income, but it is not fixed every single month. It fluctuates based on my spending and also what I earn in the amount that I have kept in like high interest savings account. I will elaborate more in future videos, and if you want to find out more, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm always very open to share about my experience and how I can generate passive interest income. Although it's not much, but if you take a look at January, 63.90 will at least get me through a week of like meals when I go out for work. In one whole year, it probably will add up. So why not do it now so that we can actually earn interest and also like cover certain meals or cover some expenses that we have in our lives. Let me just bring you through it. Gross income, interest and dividends, then I'll get my net, and I will next do up my fixed expenses. It doesn't change much for me, but some months I have added on certain fixed expenses that will recur every single month. First one, allowance to mum, is a fixed expense because it's more of the heart behind why we give instead of the amount we give. So to me, this is a fixed expense because I mean, my mom has sewed into my life since I was born, and she has made so much effort to grow us to who we are today. So it's only right that as a working adult, we also want to give back to our parents. Yep, so to me, that's a fixed expense. Everyone's thinking might be different, so please do not feel pressured about what I think. More importantly, it's what you think. Yep, so to me, this is a fixed expenses. I'm helping my mom pay off her phone right now, her mobile phone, because she doesn't have a credit card and she wanted to do this on installment. So I mentioned to her like I can do it for her, and this will be her allowance first. I have always been giving her $150 ever since I started working. And right now, actually I'm paying it off up until April. And in April onwards, I actually want to raise the amount to $200 and give it to her. And next, we have endowment plan. So endowment plan, I have bought Pru Wealth from my insurance agent. To me, it's more like forced savings, and I only have to pay 10 years. And subsequently, I can just let it roll. And next time in the future, when I grow old and I can't work anymore, this amount will actually help me a lot as well. So it will be Aviva Whole Life Insurance. I have that as my life insurance plan. I'm paying $195 a month. You might be wondering why I pay it monthly. To put it simply, it's because I feel I can earn interest on the amount in monthly instead of paying it on a year. So in a year, let's say take for example, in a year for the endowment plan, I will have to pay almost 3,000, but instead of doing that, I'm paying monthly, and I can use the 3,000 to put it in a high interest savings account, and the difference I have actually calculated, it's half. So I can actually earn back $120 minus away the $60 that I save if I pay yearly. So on that, I actually earn $60. So it's not too bad. You can actually try that out as well. That's why I'm paying monthly. But if you're a kind of person that will not want the hassle to pay monthly, then you can do so yearly as well. You save on that $60 difference. Like, check with your insurer, like paying monthly and paying yearly, you actually save slightly by paying on a yearly basis. But for me, I do it on a monthly basis. The main reason is that I earn interest on the difference. So next up, we move to my mobile plan. My mobile plan is under Giga, $18 a month. I've been using it for almost a year-ish now. It's cheap, it fully fulfills my needs. Okay, next up, we'll talk about Spotify. Spotify, if you can see here, I charge it to my UOB Evol card, which is right here. And bracket fully reimbursed is because I have a card. If some of you might know this, is the Crypto.com Ruby Visa card. Using this card allows me to get Spotify for free on a monthly basis. So I pay using my own card, and Crypto.com will actually reimburse me in their native token. If you want to find out more about this, you can always DM me or I will create a subsequent video on it. But this card allows for 2% back, which is why I'm using it. It's a prepaid card, not a debit card, so you load money inside before you can actually spend on it. So I find this very useful, which is why I'm actually using it. So Spotify to me is free. Next up will be my iCloud 50 gigabytes. I actually use iClouds to store photos, to store files, to transfer between my MacBook and my iPhone. It's a bit simpler, and it's only $1.29 to me, so I subscribe to that. Yep. And the next up will be an installment that I have recurring every single month. I actually bought a camera back in January. I wanted to travel a lot this year, which was why I actually bought a camera to lock down the journey and also make memories with it. So in my recent Cambodia trip, if you've not seen the previous videos, I actually took some photos and also videos to just make memories as I traveled with my sister. So yeah, so a total of $715 is my fixed expenses every single month right now. In January, it was lesser because I haven't had the first installment on my camera. You might be wondering why I do installment instead of paying in full. The reason is the same as my endowment plan and my whole life insurance, is because I feel I can earn more money on the amount that I have right now by paying installment instead of the full amount. So it's a 0% interest-free installment plan. That's why I'm doing it. But if you have to pay interest, make sure that your interest paid on installment is lesser than what you would earn in a high interest savings account or any investments that you make. $715 for fixed expenses every single month up until December. The total for fixed expenses right now is 26.68%. So how I count this is the amount, 715.05, divided by my income that I receive from my day job, which comes to this amount. And I feel it's quite reasonable for fixed expenses to be this amount because it's insurance coupled together with my allowance for my mom and my personal fixed expenses like my mobile phone plan. Next up, we move to savings set aside. So if you've seen my previous videos, I'm actually embarking on this aggressive savings program with you guys. So I want to be able to save up $1,500 a month from April onwards up until next year, April. And that accounts for 55% of my income. If you can hear the dog barking. Okay, I've checked back to my wallet application and saw that I actually transferred out $1,000 that month to put into my Singlife account to save up. So that accounts for my savings that month. But in April onwards, $1,500 will go into a high interest savings account to force myself to save. By the end of the year, we will have $18,000. And next, we will move to variable expenses. January, my expenses was very high because my MacBook actually died on me. So I bought a new MacBook then, and it was a hole in the pocket. It hurts a lot. It was almost like $2,000. Yeah, so January I didn't really save. Move on to February. February my expenses was a little high as well because of all the doctor visitations that I had. I fell sick quite badly in February. And I also note down here my expenses was higher because of my trip to Cambodia. I did the PCR test, my ART test. I bought a luggage as well. February I spent 1,075.70, which accounts for 40% of my income. And at the bottom you can see this actual savings. I actually update this at the end of the month to lock down how much I actually saved. It can be more than my savings that I actually set aside at the start of the month. So it lets me see whether I have saved more or have I actually eaten into my savings that I set aside at the start of the month. The actual saving is what you lock in at the end of the month. I want to add on that not every single thing that I share might be applicable to you, but in all personal finances, I feel you should pick and choose from different content creators or online. Singapore has a very good content blog for personal finance. It's called Seedly. So Seedly has a lot of articles on like the best interest savings account, your cryptocurrency, how to invest, insurance to buy, etc. It's really a good community for you to learn more about your own personal finance as well. In what I share, take it with a pinch of salt. It works for me, it might not work for you, but you can, try out what I've shared here and see if it works for you. Every time I've used Wallet by Budget Bakers together with this Excel sheet and also Notion. So Notion, I use the same template what you see here on the Google Sheet on Notion. I actually put it on Google Sheets just so it's easier for you guys to duplicate and also apply it for yourself, because I know not a lot of people actually use Notion. If you like this kind of content, you want to see how I actually do in the months to come, and also an inspiration to you guys that you can save more than you actually think. Just start saving right now. You can always think about, oh, I want to get rich quick and everything, but it's really all these foundations about managing your personal finance that will actually make the difference for you. So start with the foundation, build your foundation strong before you add on things like investments. I'm not a pro, so take things with a pinch of salt. I'm just sharing my experience and what actually works for me, and what I love about this is to be able to share it with you guys so that it helps you. Yeah. So get started now. I must say it is not too late or too young to actually start saving. So yeah, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, like, and also subscribe. If you need any help, any questions, you can always email me. Details are in the description below, and DM me on Instagram. You can find me at Demi Zhuang, IIG. And yeah, I will gladly reply to your emails, and I look forward to that. We'll see you in the next one.